Hey guys, welcome back. Crypto Cheer with Drip and Farm for Poverty, where we don't trust, we verify, and operate with integrity and transparency. Recording this on August 30th. So it's about 2.5 weeks after this clip I'm going to play from Bill Miller on CNBC that was going around kind of virally. And the clip I'm giving to you comes from Simply Bitcoin. I did not feel like going into the actual CNBC 45-minute segment and clicking that out since they'd already done the work, and most people on X have done it as well. But the reason I think it's valid now is because quite a few people were calling for the end of days again. Every time Bitcoin dips, it seems that, there's not a shortage of people saying it's time to exit, blah, blah, blah. And I know a lot of people rage sold back here and missed this new run up that we had. I remember this was extremely bearish, and I could not find this guy's clip. He was in my comments, and he had his own channel, and he said he was selling and he sold all his Bitcoin and showed it on stream. And I looked it up back then, but I cannot find his statement. I was like, let's see how that plays out. But the reason this Bill Miller clip is important is because we are now climbing back out. So Bitcoin dropped down to like 107, and the 20-week SMA has always acted as bull market support. So when you're in a bull market, anytime it dips below that, it's a great buying opportunity, especially if it just wicks below like it did there. And then you pretty much buy that. Another good indicator, this is only for people that are like sitting on the sidelines that trying to time it, which I think is the absolute dumbest thing you can do. But you can use that indicator, and anytime that we've gone, and this is only for Bitcoin and only for people that are trying to be stupid and time the market and find buying opportunities versus just DCA and forget it. But anytime we've dipped into the fear zone, which is below 40, so basically a 39, that's always been a good buying opportunity. So if you on the, 29th, we got into 39, and that was Bitcoin at 108, and now we're back at 109. And when you zoom out, and anytime we drop below that, so like we were at 39 again previously, that was June 21st, and Bitcoin was right at the 100K mark. We dropped below it again here, April 22nd, Bitcoin's at 93. We touched it here in February, it was at 96. So anytime that it drops below that, that's always a good indicator. Kind of like the Warren Buffett, be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy. So if you literally use the fear and greed index, you can just put buy orders in and get more aggressive buys as we go further and further down. But that only works for Bitcoin. I have no idea how other shit tokens, even alts, will perform. But again, back to this clip by Bill Miller, because this tells me that we still have a lot of upside to go, and this hasn't even been priced in yet.
Going to Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, let's hit that before I let you run. I mean, what do you make of it? It topped, 120 or so, and then it's been pulling back of late. Now, maybe that's correlated to growth and momentum and a little rollover as we've seen it there. Do you think that is the case? And what is your outlook from here?
I do think there's some correlation there. I think a lot of it has to do with Secretary Bessent's interview on Thursday, when he said the U.S. wouldn't be buying Bitcoin or wasn't planning on it in the near term. And then he later tried to walk that back via social media and said they would explore budget neutral ways to do it. But I think sellers are missing the forest for the trees here. If you look at 2 days before that interview, the Fed actually ended their supervisory program on novel activities, which effectively means crypto banks. And then a week prior to that, President Trump signed an executive order directing the Department of Labor to rescind prior guidance that effectively kept everyone in retirement plans out of digital assets. There's still legislative work that needs to be done there, but that's massive news. So there are 60 trillion worth of assets globally in retirement accounts with zero allocation right now to digital assets. Every 1% allocation from that 60 trillion adds $30,000 to Bitcoin's price. And so from my perspective, a 2% allocation would be conservative when you consider that all of those assets are currently in a monetary framework whose authorities have told you they want to depreciate it by 2% a year. So why?
That is, to me, like a mic drop moment. Like, it literally clicked for me after I watched this more than once of what he just said. So one, you have the framework being laid, and this is all Jack Mallers' thesis as well. He's like, debase the dollar against what? So how do you debase the dollar and still get reelected, is his little phrase. And it's like, well, that means you got to take whatever people currently have value in and make that value go up as you deplete their buying power and depreciate the dollar, debase the dollar. So if you, before you debase the hell out of the dollar, allow these 401ks and retirement funds to buy Bitcoin, well, that means that when you debase the dollar, they will have Bitcoin in their portfolios, and the portfolio value goes up due to that allocation are allowed that. And like he just said, there's 60 trillion that have been sitting on the side. It still hasn't been confirmed. Like they got to iron out that part of how the allocations will work, or whatever that monetary economic foundation has to be done. But the fact that the president has allowed the green light. So what he just said, and it's up here to read, there's 60 trillion worth of assets in retirement funds. 1% would add 30K to Bitcoin's price. 2% is the quote unquote, I showed you guys this clip from, I can't think of his name right now. I'm drawing a blank. Our Fed chair, Jerome Powell talking about how 2% is the target. And if we believe 2% will get there, then through our belief, we'll get there. Like he just like fumbled around and made up some bullshit about why 2% was the inflation target and where that came. And the TLDR, that's a number they just pulled out of their ass. That's just high enough for them to get rich and low enough for us to not to care. But essentially it's that. That's all it is. So what Bill Miller just said is that all of this money is sitting in assets that the people in charge have said at a minimum, we will steal 2% of that a year. So his logic is, well, now that you have another place to park it, why not park it in something that's outside of that theft bubble that will appreciate against it? So that's where he gets this number from. So that means if you already have been told we're going to steal 2% of your value every year if you keep it with us, why not take that same 2% and allocate it into something else? And that means there's 60K that's not priced into Bitcoin. So I think at this time, the video, Bitcoin was like 118, 120. So we're looking at minimum a 150 to 175K Bitcoin price that we haven't even got into yet. And people are screaming every 10, 20% that we drop that Bitcoin, the bull market's over. And it's like, no, we haven't even gotten started yet. Like, for me, it's so obvious now that I can't believe I missed this, in the previous cycle chasing shit tokens. But it's like, this is the life. This is the only thing that was engineered to fight against fiat debasement, control systems, inflation, all that stuff. So it's like, there's no other option. Like Michael says, there's no second best. There is nothing else you can do with your money that will provide a better return. And you already know the outcome of the existing one. So once you see the writing on the wall, it's again, like Jack Mahler said, it's like, well, how can you then only allocate 1%, 2%, 10%? It's like, so that means you know that the inevitable is coming. They're going to debase you and you're going to lose your buying power. And it's closer to 10 to 15% per year. And once you know that, you're like, yeah, well, I'm only going to put 10% of my portfolio into this and I'll put 90% into the loser. Like, how does that make any sense? It doesn't. So you have to just go all in. And the only thing holding people back from doing that is just a lack of awareness and understanding within how Bitcoin works. And once you have that level of conviction, you cannot sit on the sidelines and just tiptoe in. It just won't make any more sense. So TLDR, we'll see how this plays out. But right now, as of today, Bitcoin has pretty much stayed right on track with giving us a shitty August. So we've only had 1, 2, 3, 4 green months in August. The median is a negative 7%. And as of August 30th of this video, we're sitting at negative 5. September is also a down month, could be some bullish catalyst. However, again, these things could be priced in and you still get another down month. But we do know, again, like Bill Miller said, and once you understand Bitcoin, you know as well, that inevitably it will go up. And rather than trying to time the market and make buy orders when things get fearful or when the 20-week SMA full support band gets touched. Just DCA and just turn that on and don't think about it, and then find ways to make more money and increase that DCA, then find ways to save money and increase that DCA. Like, that's just the best, simplest way to approach this. But again, this only works for Bitcoin. I have pretty much given up on everything else. Yeah, I want my alts to pump, but I won't be allocating towards those anymore in this cycle. I'm just looking to actually take profits on them and roll them into Bitcoin. All right, let me know what you guys think about this 2% allocation and this price target. Do you believe that that can be hit by the end of the year? Or do you believe that this, you're one of those doom and gloom, Bitcoin is over and we're about to wick back down to 100K or 90K or something? Let me know in the comments. Smash that HBO special, like, subscribe, comment down below. And until next time, lift daily and achieve your impossible. See ya.